Hey fellow beaters, it's JP. I know, long time no see. So here's my first tutorial for 2019. I'm calling these the Trinity earrings, or you can do a pendant because they are kind of big. So towards the end of the video, I go through the sizing of these. So you'll see these are about 2 centimeters this way and 3 centimeters in length, or 2.5 centimeters in length, or what is that, 20 millimeters and 25. So I'm using the metric system. I guess I can do the inch since I did the metric system at the end of the video that I recorded already. But there it is, there's the inch in my ruler. It's a bit of a glare. So it's about, 3/4 of an inch, give or take, and then if I turn it this way, it's basically an inch long. Anyway, this is for us Americans who have refused to use the metric system. Anyway, well, let's get started, and I'm going to go over what materials you need next. Alright, so here's all the materials you're going to need for this project. I've got my little bead sizer so you can see what I'm using here. So this is a rondelle that's 8 millimeters, so it's 6 by 8 is the rondelle. You can use any 6 millimeter bead because that's the part here that works the best, but if you got the rondelle, that's going to be your best bet with this design. And then here is the other rondelle, which is the smaller, that's going to be on the 4 millimeter. These are just superduos, regular size, and these are 11s. Now I don't have the colors for the rondelles, so this is Olivine is the color of the superduo, and the color of the seed beads, and these are Miyuki 1052 galvanized yellow gold. And that is all that I'm using. And oh, of course, I'm using Wildfire thread, and because it shows up better on camera, you can use whatever you've got. So 4, 6, 8 pound, doesn't matter. Of Fireline works, and the 0.006 or the 0.008 of the Wildfire, or anything else that you have. But so this is what I'm using. Anyway, we're going to start by taking 3 of these, picking up a seed bead, the 11, your 8 millimeter, and we are going to put these together. So this is what you're going to get, 3 of the 11s between the 8 millimeter. And I'm just bringing this down to the bottom of my thread. I'm going to tie a nice double knot here, square knot. And you want to make sure you tighten this up so that there's very little slack there. You want this nice and tight. And this is what you're going to get. And right now you can see some thread here between the smaller seed beads. Don't worry about that. That will go away. So now you want to go into the larger bead and excuse me, make sure the thread gets pulled into that and hidden away. So I would go through another couple of beads here. And then you're going to pick up 4 11s. So you want to make sure you're coming out of the big 8 millimeter, and you're going to go into the next 8 millimeter, just like that. And you're going to repeat this. So once more, you're picking up 4 11s and going into the next 8 millimeter, and I'm going to do this one more time. And into the next bead. So there it is. And again, don't worry, this part will fix itself in a little bit here. And I've tied it probably a little looser than I should have. So that's the trick. That's why I was telling you, make sure you get it nice and tight. So when I did this, it was nice and tight, and of course you're not going to be able to see the thread anymore because we've got other things going on here. So don't worry about it if you didn't get it completely tight. Again, excuse me. So now, once you've gone through and put all 4 11s, and you're coming out of this big 8mm, go through the first 2 11s in this next round, and pick up another 11, and then go through the rest of these beads here. So the next 2 11s and the 8mm, and you're going to create a little point. And then you're going to repeat that. So go through the first 2 11s here in the group of 4. And then pick up an 11 and go through the next 2 11s and the 8mm. And if you can, over on the other side, go through the next 2 to get yourself set up to add the next 11. And here we go again. So at this point, this is what you should have. And now we are going to come out, go through the 11s. You want to come out of that point bead. And you may have to do the first 2 first. Then go through the point bead. And so this is what you should have at this point. And now to add our little crown, that's kind of what I think of it as. What you're going to do is pick up 3 11s, the 4mm, or the 3x4, or the 4x3, which I always forget I think the larger number comes first. Anyway, this is what you should have, 7 beads. You're going to go over across into the next point bead here. And this loop should pop forward and up, so it's going to sit on top. And as you tighten, you'll see that happening. And again, I'm going to pick up 3 of my 11s, my 4mm, and 3 more. Oh, I dropped everything. And go through the point. And one more time. And I got my 3. Go through the point. So this is what you should have, all these separated pieces. And what you're going to do is push all these up together and make sure you're tightening. You want to make sure you get them all nice and tight. And so I'm just holding them together and giving it all a good tug. So this is what you should get. And what you're going to do now is go up into these beads and go through the first 3 11s and the crystal, the 4mm. And my tail, get that out of the way. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and trim that so it's not going to drive me crazy the rest of the time. Gotta love my bead zap tool. Anyway, so as I was saying, I'm coming out of that crystal, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bead in between and connect the crystals together. So pick up an 11 and go into the next crystal. And then pick up another 11, go into the next crystal. And one more time, pick up an 11 and go into the next crystal. And just give it all a nice tug. You want to get that nice and tight. And then what I would do is just reinforce by going through the beads one more time. So you're just going to go through the 11s and the 4mm crystals. And that should get them nice and snug right on top. So at this point, if you wanted to stop and just add an ear wire hook, you would have a really cute pair of earrings. But if you want to continue and add a little bit more, then we shall continue. So at this point, you're coming out of this crystal. We want to go back down into this, into the 3 beads on the side here. Then into this middle point bead, the 2 11s on the side, and then come out of our big 8mm bead. And there we go. What's nice about the big 8mm beads is that they have nice big holes. So now we're going to move into our super duos. And you're going to hold on to your work. Don't let it get pulled out of your hand. So 1, 11, then a super duo, an 11, and then a super duo, and 1 more 11. So you're picking up 5 beads. And you're going to go into the 8mm. So just the 8, nothing else, none of the seed beads. And that's what you get. And then we're going to repeat this 2 more times. So get your super duos, your 11s. And again, what I picked up was an 11, a super duo 11, super duo 11. And we're going to go into this next one here. I'm just going into the big, large 8mm 6x8 rondelle bead that I'm using. And my seed bead there was blocking the way. Moved it out of the way. And again, you want to be giving this a tug so they're sitting together. And last time. And there's my set of 5, 11, super duo, 11, super duo, 11. And into so it's not that this is tight, this is just my seed beads are getting in the way of the needle. And on this side, there we go. At this point, this is what you should have. So here's how it looks on the sides. It's actually a really cute piece. And I'm going to continue through until I get to the second super duo. So I'm just going through the 11s and the first super duo here, and then I'm going to go into this next one, and then that's where I'm going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and turn, going into this other hole. See, I'm coming out there, going into the other hole. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the last of my 4mm. Excuse me, voice just decided to disappear. Okay, so that's 11, 4mm, 11, going in to the super duo. And then I'm picking up 7 11s. So that's 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then into the super duo. And once again, pick up an 11, the 4mm, and an 11, and then go into the next super duo. Then the 7 11s. It's 5, 6, and 7. All right. Last rondelle that I gotta add. So this is my 4x3 rondelle. And I'm picking up an 11 on either side and then going into this last super duo. And there you have it. Now all you need to do is pick up 7. And again, through the super duo. And the first 11 bead. So don't go through anything else. And there's your piece, and you could go ahead and reinforce at this time, but I'd like to show you how to do this, the veil portion, so or the ear wire portion, depending on whether you're going to make an earring or a pendant, or both, because you can do both. So now you're going to pick up 5 11s, and skip over the rondelle and go into the 11 on the other side of the rondelle and the superduo. So you're going to get our loop here. And then from the back, it's easier to do this from the back side. Go into the other hole of the superduo and go through the 11, go through the next superduo, and then we are going to switch back up, go back up into the other hole of this superduo now, so going back, because we just kind of made a little loop. And I'm coming out of this 11 too. So what I want to do is come out of basically the middle bead here. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 3 more on this side. So the middle bead, so there's 7 beads here, and the middle one is there. So now pick up 4 of the 11s and go back around the 11 where the thread is coming out. Go through the first 11, then pick up an 11, go into the next 11, pick up an 11, go into the next 11, and just pull tight. So this gives you that diamond pattern. Pick up an 11 and go into the next 2 11s if you can. It's a tough little angle, and there we go. So there, that's done. Now you can go back and reinforce it to tighten it up. I'm using an 8-pound thread, so this is pretty thick. So I'm not too worried about it, for me anyway. So I'm going to continue down and go through these beads. And basically to tie off now, all you're going to need to do is do some half-hitch knots. So I'm going to go through all these 11s. And I'll go ahead and make a knot here with my 4mm bead. That way the knot can be hidden away inside the large bead. So half-hitch knot, you're just going around the thread and then making a little loop like that. Go through the loop and pull the knot or the thread through. And I would just go through a few more beads to weave the thread a little more. And you can do a few more knots if you want, so you could do one more over here. And there we go, one more. And again, weaving away, and that should kind of cover it. This isn't a piece. Nice thing with earrings is that you don't get as much strain on. The only part that really gets strained is the ear wire. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trim. And let's get this out of the way. Let's shift these over. Alright, so here they are. These are my pretty little Trinity earrings. These should be lots of fun to wear. They have a little bit of weight to them. They're not super heavy, so I know there's a lot of people that don't like the big earrings. If you don't like big earrings, this is probably not the right one for you. They measure in size. So there's my centimeter. So if you look at the first one, it's about 2 centimeters, the widest part. And then if I turn it this way, it's about 3 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters in length, or 25 millimeters, depending on whatever length you prefer, give or take. And then you also have to add ear wire loops. But this is the Trinity earring. So I hope you guys like the tutorial and stay tuned for more.